Okay, well here we are in the workshop, and just gonna do a video of something that I had put together. Now this is a T-line box for an 8-inch Digital Designs 500 series. So this is 400 watts RMS, and it's a big old line. I think we have a transmission line tuning of around about 31 Hertz, and it also has a Helmholtz resonance at, I think it was 43 Hertz. It was a little while ago I designed this, and I didn't make it myself. I just sent it over to a buddy to put together for me, because I don't have the time to be building boxes just now. So yeah, he threw this together for me, and this is for a customer, and he's going to be running this on a Digital Designs DM500, so a tiny little 500 watt RMS amplifier. And so the box is nice and big to keep the efficiency nice and high, which should get this woofer really dropping deep and getting some air moving on the lower power. As you can see, the 500 series looks pretty nice, and it gets moving very nicely for the price. Just need to give it a quick brush off and get some paint in the end of the line there. Okay, well, let's take the camera up here, and I'm just going to play some tunes. I'm going to slow them down. This one is a track called Embrace by Lion, L-E-L-I-O-N, and it's kind of dubsteppy, and I'm going to play the full speed version first and then slow it down. It's a lovely bassy track. Okay, now we're going to play it at 76% speed. As you can see, the DD and the T-line absolutely hammers the lows there. Let's take it down even further to, I don't know, let's say 60% speed. This is getting into seriously slowed down territory here. It's doing it. Okay, let's see how it comes to something punchy. Yeah, that sounds pretty good and on time to me. Yeah, it's definitely super accurate, no distortion or any kind of hollow resonance that I can hear around there anywhere. Fantastic. Now I'm going to play this track called Hemisphere by Rezo, which is a track that I played in the video of the 4 512s in my buddy Mark's car. It was sort of towards the end, but it's a beautiful track for testing subwoofers. It's got a part halfway through that drops absolute balls. Beautiful track, that one, very atmospheric. And of course, as in pretty much every video of a sub moving, we got the Sadness and Sorrow rebass by myself from the Naruto soundtracks. drops off like a rock. Can't quite hit that super low. And the same for that one. The box is obviously tuned, I'd say around about the 26, 27 mark perhaps. Well, that's where the pressures start to drop off, and then you've got a big drop, and those super lows in that Naruto soundtrack, they're dropping like around the sort of 20, 23 hertz mark. So for a little 8-inch woofer, I didn't want to go down that low and compromise some higher end stuff, so that's pretty fair enough, and yeah, it does drop off quite sharply there. Now let's just crack open Audacity and let's just find out where this does actually drop off. So I'm going to go ahead and generate a tone, and we're going to try 25 hertz first, and let's just see how she plays. Oh yeah, plenty of SPL going on in here with the 25 hertz stuff shaking around. Now let's go down a little bit and let's try the 23. Which is, I believe, those Naruto lows come in. Yeah, no, that's pretty unloaded. So between 25 and 23 is where it really drops off sharply. So we're going to be setting the subsonic up there around about that frequency, just to prevent any super over excursion. But we should be alright on 500 watts. Let's do a 28, see how strong that bad boy is. Yeah, that sounds nice. And my favourite frequency, for some reason, I don't know why, but I love 33. It's tends to be the peak of a lot of people's cabins with their sub setups that they've got. Yep, lots of pressure there. Now let's just go ahead and try, because we want this to be punchy as well. Let's just see how it 75 hertz sounds. That's very loud as well, and we've got a little bit of cancellation from my PA speakers here that I'm using for tops, but yeah, that's pretty loud. And if any of you are wondering what's going on inside there, well, there you go. We've got a compression chamber underneath the woofer, and we've got just a simple folded T-line, and the area of the line there is pretty matched up exactly with the piston area of the woofer. So yeah, sounds pretty good. For any of you wondering what's going on with the tops, well, these are the JBLs. If you've been watching my videos for years, the JBLs have fallen. Sadly, I know. I did some DJing over December up in London, some corporate events and whatnot, and I had a venue hall which was absolutely massive, and I was miles away from the woofers, the speakers, and I couldn't really hear properly, and I was giving them some proper welly, you know, I was really seeing what these could take, and I finally found their limits, and we lost one woofer and both tweeters and one crossover. And so, as you can see, for the rest of my DJing gig, I used some other top cabs that I had, or that I managed to get hold of through my cousin, and I turned these into little sub enclosures. So I took the horns out, the tops, and just put a very simple slot port in there. It was really roughly bodged and done because I was doing this in between DJing, so I had barely any time to do this, so I just literally threw this together, and I had some digital designs, ESPs in there for bass, a bit of added sub, because I was doing a wedding that was in a rather large hall, so I knew I needed some subs anyway, so this actually worked very well, and this shit was loud with the ESPs in here with the slot ports. Now, I quite like this setup of not having the tweeter and having a slot on there, so what I'm thinking of doing is redoing these slots and these little covers there for the original ports in the PA cabs, and I'm actually thinking of going ahead and replacing the drivers in there with something from DD, which is pretty new. If you follow DD, you will have seen these already. Gonna go to mids and highs, and they've just brought out a new range of VO series woofers. Now these are DD's PA line, and it's grown significantly very recently. We've got the larger sizes all back and revamped. So the 15, the 12 and the 10, and this is the VOW series. Now the 15's obviously my JBL's a 15. What we're going to go ahead and do is grab a couple of these bad boys, which have 4-inch voice coils and will take a good amount of power. What does DD rate them at? 400 to 1200 watts. I would say your RMS rating is probably going to be anywhere between 800 and 1000 there. Knowing DD, should be able to take some serious abuse, especially with a large coil on there. And the beauty of these, and the reason I'm going for these, is because they're coaxial. So rather than having to have a tweeter in the top, I can leave my big ass slot port in there. And I'm going to run some tests with the TS parameters and just make sure that the port is good for these VO woofers here, just to get a bit of bass out of them if I need to do a gig without a sub. And I can mount the tweeter to the rear of the woofer like so. The compression tweeter screws into the back of the pole vent, and then the top plate of the motor is almost like a horn. It expands outwards, so basically the tweeter is then sort of playing into a horn, which then comes out of the acoustically transparent dust cap. Very clever. This design's been around for a while. DD did not invent this design. However, it is awesome that they're implementing it in the car audio scene, and it should be very, very cool. So I'm going to have those in the workshop and just shove them in the JBLs just for listening to some tunes. As you can see right now, I've bodged together a Skytech 15 in there, one of the last remaining original JBL drivers in there. And I've just wired up some Digital Designs B2 tweeters, just shoved them on the top for a bit of music whilst I'm doing my amp repairs. And the tweeters are 4 ohm, and so it's far too bright because the woofers are 8 ohm, hence why my equalizer settings look like so. But yeah, it works fine for a bit of tunes in the workshop, and when I get the DD VOs in there, it should be sounding even better.